Thank you very much, Alex. Now it's an honor to introduce a good friend of mine who we worked together in Sacramento. She was in the Assembly, worked for the Senate, worked for the governor in the Department of Finance, was on the Board of Equalization. She is probably one of the smartest public officials I've ever met and one of the most determined, and as state controller, she does everything she can to make sure that corporations pay their fair share of taxes and can't dodge them using high-priced lawyer to get out of what is the just due of the people of this state to collect money from the big businesses and corporations. I give you our endorsed candidate for state controller, Betty Yee.
Thank you. Thank you, Democrats. Good afternoon. Democrats, all eyes across the nation have been on our Golden State, witnessing the leadership of our Democrats in keeping California from falling off the fiscal cliff and getting our financial house in order, while other states are mired in gridlock. California Democrats are leading the way through action in our investment in public education, while the movement to privatize education grows across this nation, pushing students and qualified educators to the back of the classroom. California Democrats have been leading through action to secure the freedom for our LGBT sisters and brothers to marry the one they love, as well as to stand strong in protecting a women's right to choose. While these rights are either not fully realized or eroding elsewhere in the United States. California Democrats have been leading by action to bring immigrants out of the shadows because it is good for the safety of our communities and the health of our economy, while the rest of the nation focuses on immigrant detention policies. And California Democrats have been leading by action, showing the rest of the nation how to stem the red tide, keeping California blue. With a Democratic sweep of every statewide office through the sustained activism of the Democratic grassroots, demonstrating once again that organized people can overcome organized money. And I ask you today, please sign up for DEM 2016 so that the financial contributions we make each month provide the tools and resources we need to continue our work on the ground. Today, fellow Democrats, all eyes continue to be on California, as our leadership is challenged as we combat the effects of global climate change, poverty, and income inequality. Our values as Democrats will be tested as these crises and their disparate effects have the tremendous potential to divide us. And so I say to you, California Democrats, we must continue to lead by action, but I ask each of you, let us lead by personal action. With global warming affecting our food supply and driving food prices up, will we commit to eating less and sharing our food table? The over 4 million Californians who experience food insecurity, including our children, our seniors, and those in our low-income communities, are depending on our commitment. With income inequality growing and adding workers to the ranks of those living in or near poverty conditions, will we stand with workers and their families in the fight for 15? The 52% of fast food workers on public assistance and other workers on the economic fringe are counting on us to stand with them. Will we? With the drought and severely reduced water supplies becoming the new normal, will we sustain going brown and giving up the luxury of 5-minute showers? We know our neighbors in the smaller rural areas of Fresno County, Madera County, Mariposa County, Kern County, Mendocino County, Nevada County, Placer County, Santa Cruz County, and Sonoma County, whose wells have gone dry and faucets are running empty, are relying on us to conserve more to help them. With poor air quality causing major health impacts on all communities, including premature deaths and illnesses, will we get out of our cars and ride public transportation more, as well as reduce energy consumption at home and at work? The $28 billion annual cost of the over 3 million among us with asthma and others suffering from the health effects of air pollution is demanding that we each do our part to reduce air pollution and to reduce our individual carbon footprint. And with the increasing housing affordability gap coming on the heels of the foreclosure crisis, will we step up in getting past NIMBYism and overcome opposition to affordable housing development? The lower wage workers among us, as well as our seniors, our veterans, our foster youth who require supportive services, are deserving to live in safe and affordable housing with services for promoting healthy communities. And as we work to meet these challenges of food insecurity, income inequality, the drought, air quality, and affordable housing, will we recognize that the historic poor among us must not be left behind? Because Democrats, the fact of the matter is poverty has always been around us. But what is different? What is different is the growing numbers of those living in approaching poverty conditions. The historic poor among us, we've known them. They have been chronically out of work, do not have enough to eat, struggle with addictions and mental illness, and live on our streets. And add to them the poor today among us. Today's poor work. They have children. They go hungry regularly. They can't afford rent. They lack safe water to drink, and they lack clean air to breathe. The historic poor and today's poor all are part of our global humanity worthy of embrace. So I ask you, fellow Democrats, please join me. Let us not let this become a crisis of opportunity. We can and we must create opportunities for the untold numbers who need to be lifted up and given hope. We must not become complacent. Complacency leads to silence, and silence leads to indifference. Indifference and silence in the midst of our national crisis of meaning and values relegate us ultimately to the junk heap of history. Now, most of you know I grew up poor. And like any parents seeking a better life for their families, my parents sacrificed for their children for us to be able to get a first-class education at our University of California and California State University. Yet it was our shared values of community and respect for others' differences that showed me time and time again how any challenge may be overcome. I know that my work as this state's chief fiscal officer will not be done until the chasm of California being the 7th largest economy and also home to the highest rate of poverty is closed. So I say, Democrats, together we can lead through personal action for the collective good. And I ask you, listen to a neighbor in need, lend a hand to a child who is hungry, speak out for a family member demanding fair wages. And we lead by understanding that this neighbor, this child, this relative must join us in becoming agents of the change that we want to see. A community that embodies equal opportunity, equality, and justice for all. And really, each of us is a leader in this room. And I conclude with a reflection by well-known Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu to guide us. And he says, to lead people, walk beside them. As for the best leaders, the people do not notice their existence. And when the best leader's work is done, the people say, we did it ourselves. Thank you, Democrats. Let us each go forth and now lead. Thank you all very much.